gang members, resulting in arrest, prosecution, and disruption of their networks. Community policing and public sensitization efforts to encourage timely reporting of gang-related incidents and improve collaboration with law enforcement agencies. Engagements with local leaders and stakeholders to identify and address the root cause of gang recruitment, including socioeconomic vulnerabilities. Strengthened accountability within the service, including stern disciplinary action against officers and individuals found abetting or participating in criminal activities. Intensifying the crackdown against the drug trafficking syndicates and the fight against the illicit brews. Despite the ongoing efforts, several challenges continue to undermine the gains made. These include inadequate rehabilitation and reintegration program for reformed gang members, leading to high cases of recidivism, failure by the community to share critical intelligence because of fear of retaliation from the gangs, limited alternative livelihood opportunities, especially for vulnerable youth, increasing their risk of recruitment by criminal gangs and networks. Mr. Speaker, this is the end of my statement. I thank you.
Thank you. Well done, Minister. Members, back to you. Majority. Let me see the hands so that I take the first batch of 10. Then we... So number 1 will be Majority Leader. Number 2 will be Mumina. Number 3 will be KJ. Number 4 will be Lenguris. Number 5 will be hey, unainua zaidi. I'll give to Nabi. Number 6. Remember your numbers. Number 6, which is the bandit corner? The member for Turkana in white jacket. That is Protas. Yes, Protas. That is number 7. I'll give to Kisumu East. Yes, Kisumu. That is Shakil. Number 8. I'll give to Lamu East. Number 9. I'll give to Kemei, and number 10, I'll give to Makali Mulu. Let's start with those. One question or comment each. Very quickly, Minister, I will then respond to all of them. Yes. Then we do another round. Starts Majority. Kila mtu akumbuke namba yake.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, namba yangu ilikuwa namba 1. Yes. Na swali yangu itakuwa rahisi kwa waziri. Waziri, umetuambia kuwa hali ya usalama ya nchi iko dhabiti na inaendelea kuwa dhabiti. Lakini umesema the evolving challenges and emerging threats like goonism, a mob culture, and unfortunately, the issues you have spoken to, even on narcotics, these issues don't just affect, and alcohol abuse don't just affect the people or the citizens, but also security agencies. And there is also an emerging culture now, and I want to point you to the case, about 2 cases. One in Karatina, where a police officer shot dead a young man who was involved in an altercation with other people that never involved the police. And at that time of the night, even from the videos that were circulating on social media, you can clearly tell either that officer was intoxicated or something to do with the abuse of narcotics. In the same breath, 2 weeks later, in Kitengela, another officer is said to have shot some young man who were also fighting in a pub. And it is said it was a senior police officer. And the fact that these shootings, especially that one in Kitengela, happened around or in a pub, I would want to hear what you and your security agencies are doing to stem that emerging threat or culture among security agencies, either abusing drugs and alcohol. And also, when I was growing up, I thought officers were never allowed to be in bars armed. And I thought that was a police culture then. I don't know what happened now, that police officers can go to bars with their guns. And also shoot people like they did in Karatina to that young man in the full view of cameras, Waziri. I therefore want to hear from you, what is it that you are doing? And I see you have your DIG and other senior officers from the security agencies. Even psychiatric or psychosocial support of officers, because they are also confronted by the same challenges that the citizens are confronted with. The issue of alcohol and drug abuse among us police officers is also very prevalent. And I say this also as a citizen who goes around and I find armed officers who are intoxicated. I have seen officers with a G3 leaning on a bank wall at the bank entrance, and he's chewing mira and mugoka. An officer in uniform. That's what I was saying, Waziri. I don't know what is happening to this culture. You've spoken about emerging cultures of goonism, mobs. Recently, you've seen in Huruma that culture of mobs. And that also points to the work of intelligence officers to be able to nip these mobs in the bud before they become a problem. Those mobs are the same mobs that are being used because they are evolving. They are gangs that then form into mobs. And those are the ones being used by political leaders as goons to disrupt the peace in other people's rallies and meetings. And you've had pronouncements, as you have said, from political leaders threatening each other with goons. If you do not nip these things in the bud now, in the run-up to a general election, we are playing with fire. Waziri, this house was invaded on the 24th of June. To date, we have not seen any meaningful prosecution of the people who are very well captured on camera.
Yes.
Goons from gangs within Nairobi that are known and that are affiliated to political leaders, including members of parliament who sit in this house. And I know they obtained court orders to stop them from being arrested or being prosecuted from the activities of infiltrating the otherwise peaceful demonstrations by the young people of Kenya who are involved in a legitimate protest and picketing. But the infiltration by organized goons and gangs, especially from east of Nairobi, known because the police, by the time they tried to arrest the political leaders who were involved, they ran to court. Again, we do not see any effort from yourselves, from Interior, or from the police, or from the Attorney General's office, to deal with the matters in court, to challenge those cases where people are using court orders to injunct the police from charging them on criminal activity. Because if we allow ourselves to use court orders to inject the police again from arresting people who are organizing crime, tomorrow, who knows, I'll get a gun and shoot somebody, and I just walk to court and get a court order and I get away with murder. Waziri would also want to hear what you are doing now at the policy level in the ministry to guide under the office of the Attorney General to challenge some of those matters even in court. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I gave your leader that latitude. The rest, in the interest of others' interests, you just ask one question or one comment. Mumina? Women Rep Isiolo. There's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Waziri, for that presentation. Speaker, I want to begin by commenting on the Maliza operation that has begun in earnest in Isiolo County. I wish to report that that operation is paying off, Waziri. How I wish we started this long time before many people got affected. However, my quick question on that is, after the operation is concluded, how do we avoid re-emerging of such banditry again, especially within the town centers? Number two, how are we protecting... Waziri, I'm affected in a big way. Some people are not affected by insecurity matters here. I have two more questions. Please.
Ask one more only.
For the operation, how are we protecting the elderly, the children, and the women? And finally, my last question, Waziri, is on cross-border engagement when it comes to pastoralists sharing resources across the administrative boundaries. Waziri, there is this trend where pastoralists from neighboring counties come in, they are allowed to come in, they come in without permission and they disobey the grazing rules, and that leads to conflict. How do we deal with that? Secondly, they come in, they settle. Waziri, I'm done. Speaker, I'm done. They come in, they settle, and they make territorial claims. And they come to you and gazette those boundaries as their own. How do we stop that? Because it normally leads to a big conflict among the pastoralists. Thank you.
Are you saying that invaders then gazette areas?
Yes, they normally gazette it.
Anyway, Waziri, you'll answer that. I thought gazetting areas is an exclusive responsibility of government. KJ?
Honorable Speaker, I thank you, and I appreciate the Cabinet Secretary's update. And Mr. Speaker, as you would know, this House has not been idle. We have been able to pass and we continue to oversee the implementation of very key legislative frameworks, including the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act of 2018, Mr. Speaker, the Data Protection Act of 2019, the Kenya Information and Communication Act, KICA, especially CAP 411A, as amended, and the newly put in place National Cybersecurity Strategy Framework Instruments, which have been operationalized under existing laws. Mr. Speaker, these were designed specifically to strengthen the detection, the prosecution, the digital forensics, data governance, and protection of critical information infrastructure. So, Mr. Speaker, in light of these existing legal tools, could the Cabinet Secretary clarify whether the current challenge is one of capacity, of coordination, of funding, or are there gaps in law, Mr. Speaker, and whether there are specific amendments that are required to the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act or any other related statutes, Mr. Speaker, to address the emerging threats such as the AI-enabled fraud, the deepfakes, cross-border cyber espionage, and Mr. Speaker, whether there is any additional policy that is required or budgetary or legislative support that the ministry requires from this House, Mr. Speaker, because Kenyans today, Mr. Speaker, are being exposed to such cyber crimes as have never been seen before, Mr. Speaker. Whereas, Mr. Speaker, the minister is saying that they have been able to cover that space. you realize that we as politicians, Mr. Speaker, have a thick skin. But what the citizens are being exposed to, Mr. Speaker, like this morning, we woke up to a poster inviting people to a food allocation in a region of Dagoretti South constituency, where a person boldly puts up a poster on Facebook and invites people on my behalf to a food distribution exercise. And while I, as a politician, am very well covered and I have a thick skin, Mr. Speaker, the people out there do not know that these are deep fakes and they are being done using social media, whereas the minister is telling us that the instruments that they need are in place. The deep fakes, Mr. Speaker, the fake accounts. And Mr. Speaker, if we go into an election with this, what is going to happen is going to be a barrage of misinformation that might lead even to insecurity for this country, Mr. Speaker.
Point
so, Mr.
4.
Speaker, I'm very keen to know what the minister requires from this house so that he can be able to operationalize the laws that we have passed in this house for computer misuse and protection against fakes and deep fakes. Thank you very much, Mr.
Number
Speaker.
4. Lenguris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to appreciate the Minister for the work they have done to reduce the issues of banditry. Although we are still experiencing some issues here and there, we are still losing some lives. Now it's being escalated by the ongoing drought. But I'm standing here, Mr. Speaker, today to bring an issue of unlawlessness in Marara town. Mr. Speaker, of late we are experiencing a lot of challenges because of the gangs who are building up in our towns. I'm talking about Wamba town and Marara town. Recently, there is a group of gangs that are really terrorizing people in Marara town. They break into shops, they steal shops in broad daylight, they break into homes. Now they have resorted even to kill people using their knives. And this is happening in broad daylight, Mr. Speaker, when we have all the security agencies in Marara town. And even today, even last week, we buried a young man because he was stabbed by people who are coming to come and steal his chicken. Mr. Speaker, it's so sad for us to be burying people just because of gangs that are building up in Marara town in presence of all the security agencies. In Marara town, that is the headquarters of the county. And that is where we have all the agencies staying there. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the minister, please, because we have officers who have overstayed in those stations, and they have gotten used to the culture, and they're just like, they are not doing anything. So I'm kindly asking the minister, if they can transfer all the security officers who have overstayed in Marara, so that we can have people who can protect the security, who can provide security and protect people and their properties, because it's really getting out of hand. We are losing people each and every day, even those who are going to the Soko to sell their goods and even to provide food to the people who are living far from the towns. But they are attacked on the way, they are killed, and nothing is happening. Nobody is being arrested. So we don't know how long we are going to experience this. How many more lives are we going to lose so that people can act? How many more homes can be broken into so that people can act? So I'm kindly requesting that this time we need an action, and if nothing can be done, people are going to protest in our towns. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Number 5, Nabi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is specific. Waziri, what are you doing to ensure that the resources available to you is equitably distributed in all parts of the country? I'm saying this because out of 5 police stations in my 2 sub-counties, only 1 has a vehicle.
Thank you. Number 6.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question goes to the CS that incidents of banditry and cattle rustling are increasingly taking shape in Turkana County, despite the ongoing operation in some parts of the Kerio Valley. And I wish to ask, because most of these raids are taking place in oil-rich areas. Is there any relationship between what is going on in that particular place, because there's been FDP public participation going on in Turkana County, and these are areas where these particular raids are taking place? And if the government, and what measures is the government putting in place to ensure that these bandits that are not running away from their areas where the operation is taking place to come and terrorize people from areas that do not have insecurity areas? Is the government taking any measure to contain these people so that they don't run away from where they are currently, so that the operation or the SOG can be able to get there? Thank you.
Number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Minister, we've had the gazettement of 5 locations and 9 sub-locations, but they've not been operationalized. As such, we have a security problem in Kisumu East. We have tried to work with the community policing. They are not able to help us because they're not being paid, and the policy and operationalization of community policing is not working. Finally, Mr. Chair, we have NGCDF has put together 4 police stations lately. We have no vehicles, and there's encroachment in some of the police station government land. I've approached the ACC on this, and I request the Minister to kindly look into this and supply us the 4 police vehicles that the IG had said he would send to us. Thank you, sir.
Number 8.
Mr. Speaker, swali langu ni juu ya utovu wa usalama Lamu. Kwa nini tumeng'ang'ana kwa karibu miaka 5 tunang'ang'ana tupate sub-county ya Kiunga ward, hatupati. Na tunajua kule sababu ya logistic challenges, geographical position yetu ya Lamu, kuna island na mainland, na kwa sababu ya utovu wa usalama tunafaa kupata sub-county. Lakini tumefuata sheria zote zinazotakikana, lakini hatupati sub-county. Sijui ni kwa sababu vile, manake mimi speaker nimeshindwa, nimeng'ang'ana, nimetuma mabarua, nimeenda hizo ofisi paka nimechoka, siendi tena. Nimeenda jukwaa la usalama, pahali popote waziri anapokuwa yuko mimi naenda kuuliza. Labda nyinyi speaker hapa na wenzangu munisaidie, manake mimi nimeshindwa, nimetafuta njia zote hawanipi. So labda jibu lije kwa speaker sasa, kwa sababu sitaki hata kwangu, manake wanaitikia vizuri kisha inaenda hivyo. Au ni kwa sababu wameweka chief ambaye analipwa karibu miaka 5 sahihi na haezi kukaa kwetu, kwa sababu chief wa sehemu nyingine amewekwa kwetu, ndio hamtaki kutupa sub-county, na chief huyo haezi kukaa kwetu, na hatutakubali huyo chief aje akae kwetu. Hata ikibidi ni kufanya vipi, hata kaa. Kwa sababu ile ni kwetu, hatuwezi kubali sehemu yetu iende sehemu zingine. Sijui sababu ni hiyo. Pia speaker, kule Lamu kuna curfew kwa miaka 15. Curfew tu siku zote, kila ikifika saa 12 jioni Lamu huwezi ingia wala kutoka. Huwezi ingia na ndege wala huwezi toka. Hata kukiwa na emergency usiku ni hatari. Ishatokea emergencies usiku, hakuna ndege inaweza ingia. Kweli security ni paramount, lakini hizo siku zote hakuna solution inapatikana mpaka sasa. Wakati wa COVID lockdown tu sehemu kidogo mlikuwa mnaona shida. Sisi tumekuwa na lockdown miaka 15, ni haki? Hata kwa Mwenyezi Mungu ni haki? Mna nia gani na Lamu? Na speaker, wale polisi wote ambao hawatakikani, utasikia hakuna hati sheria ya kupeleka punishment kule. Kwangu naweza kuletea listi kwako speaker, sipeleki listi huko. Nitakuletea mimi, niko na paka namba zao za kazi, nitakuletea wewe list. Watu polisi ambao paka president akienda kwangu anaekiwa polisi kama 2 wamchunge sija kaleta aibu. Wanakunywa tembo tu na kukaa kwa sababu ni stress kwao, wamekaa zaidi ya miaka 7. Wako naweza kuletea list.
Sawa. Kemei number 9.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And my question goes to the CS concerning the security of teachers and especially in Kericho County. Honorable Speaker, when the results were released, the KCSC, this particular school, Moisitotwet, where our parents, when the results were not good, the parents waited for the teachers outside the compound and they threatened the teachers just because of the poor performance. Are here, even in wherever. So the security of teachers is actually of concern. I want to add this, Honorable Speaker.
Wewe mwenyewe ni mwalimu?
Mimi ni mwalimu.
No,
yes. Once a teacher, always a teacher. Now, and apart from that, Honorable Speaker, and Litain High School, there was this serious strike. And because of the strike, the teachers' property were banned. The school, of course, was banned. And up to now, nothing much has been done for the teachers. They are still traumatized. So I want to ask the CS, what plans does he have concerning the security of the teachers in schools, mainly the boarding schools?
Thank you.
And Honorable Speaker, I'm also concerned about the village elders. Their security is also key. And last year, I came with a statement concerning the killing of one Joshua Mutahi. And up to now, the culprit has not been found. The case went cool like that, and nothing has happened. So, Honorable Speaker, I feel something should be done. And I believe the CS still remember that the President pronounced himself concerning the village elders that is giving a stipend of 3,000. That was from last month. That is January. I believe our CS has some information concerning the same.
Number 10.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, where I come from, there is a game reserve called Kitui South Game Reserve, where insecurity is the order of the day. I would want to hear from the minister why can't we have Melissa Warip for Kitui South Game Reserve? I would also want to hear, Honorable Speaker, from the minister whether it is a government policy for the police to pursue people all the way to the church in terms of tear gassing. And if that is not a government policy, where are they getting that authority from? Because worship places are sacred. The last question, Honorable Speaker, relates to promotion and posting. Honorable Minister, some of your officers have been in the service for over 10 years, 15 years, and they have never been promoted once. Others have served in hardship areas for more than 10 years. They have never been transferred. How do you expect such officers to work for you effectively? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Minister, deal with those 10.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I hope in dealing also with some of this will preempt some of the concerns that people have, especially say, police station cars and administrative units, among others. First, let me start with the question of Majority Leader on drunk police officers. The Speaker, this question of alcohol abuse and addiction is not confined to just citizens. It's also the police officer. They are part of the society. And we have a good number of police officers who are addicted to alcohol. Mr. Speaker, some also abuse drugs, and that must be confessed. Even in my Jukwaa la Usalama forum, there was a particular police officer in Migori who came to the function drunk, Mr. Speaker. And of course, after I asked later his colleagues why they could not even dissuade him from coming to the meeting, knowing that he was drunk, they said that it was impossible. He's an OCS, and he's the one who is leading the police station. One of the biggest challenges, later when I now understood why we get security reports from Timaru and that part of Migori in the Kuria side, a lot of security challenges because the person in charge of the police station is drunk. And then, I was told half of the police officers within the police station were also abusing alcohol. So, Mr. Speaker, this issue must be dealt in two ways. One is that out of compassion, those who are addicted to alcohol are meant to be taken to rehabilitation centers. Now, what we agreed after our conversation in Jukwaa Usalama was that the IG needs to develop a framework to ensure that no police officer will be deployed drunk. And that framework can only be enforced if the OCS is in charge. So you need to deal first with the 1,200 OCSs to grill them and vet them to ensure that they have the certain level of discipline and they are not addicted to alcohol. And that process is ongoing to start with. Then you need now to deal with the strength of the police. I went during Jukwaa to Bomet, for example, and there was a police station in Konoin where they were saying that everybody was drunk. And then, that reflects, that's a reflection of the security situation in that area. So the point is this: we have a problem of alcohol abuse, drunkardness, addiction within the police service. It must be dealt with, first of all, by taking those who are addicted for rehabilitation. But the second part is that you cannot be, everybody here, including ourselves, are trying to say we need to be compassionate and, help them, rehabilitate them. But, Mr. Speaker, there must be an end to that. There must be a limit to it. If you are in disciplined forces, you must accept that we'll take you to a rehabilitation, give you your dues, and discharge you so that it opens doors for other people to serve. Otherwise, if we say we rehabilitate and bring them back, maybe you are given only one chance, and then thereafter, you must be able to leave the police service. This is an issue that is a problem to all of us, as you know, as citizens of this country. Rehabilitation and addiction is an issue. So that process is ongoing. Sometimes some officers are still in office, basically only because there is no other officer to be transferred to that area. So it's also linked to their strength. And the 10,000 police recruits will help us create a framework of balancing what's happening across the country. And on the question of Karatina particularly, that police officer was deployed, Karatina, Kitengela, and many other incidents where police officers have killed civilians or their own colleagues because they were drunk, is a failure by the OCS because he's the one who is in charge of the police officer. So it's not enough that that man was arrested, he was charged, and the process is ongoing. It's also important that the OCS is held into account by his disciplinary standards in terms of managing his police officers in that area. So the message must go to all our OCSs, even from this statement here, that they will be held personally accountable if they are going to deploy officers who are known to have mental health challenges, or probably they are drunk, or they may have social problems. I asked this simple question to many of the OCSs during Jukwaa, that how do you end up deploying somebody whom you know that he has marital problems or family issues? He's telling you he wants a leave for 10 days to go, and you're saying it's not possible for you to go, and you're keeping him in the station. The next thing you hear from colleagues, they're saying, nitapita na OCS, ama nitapita na mtu kwa hii stage. And it is taken lightly. Mental health issues must be taken seriously. The police officers we have now are young. Some of them are of a generation that they have no stamina to deal with mental health problems. And yet, those of us who are in positions of authority perhaps forget that the police officers are a reflection of the society. That is an ongoing issue. I am also thinking of perhaps we have our report from Jukwaa, but maybe issuing a policy directive, Mr. Speaker, on this particular issue of drunkardness and indiscipline, deploying officers who have no proper mental health to be able to deal with the issues. Again, we need to, after this recruitment that we did recently, we need to have a proposal from the IG's office or the National Police Service as to how many police officers will be recruiting annually, and then we put it in the annual budget so that we don't wait for 3-4 years to do recruitment, because then the acute shortage that is in place, some police officers are just there to show that there is a police officer, yet the word being used is that they are not serviceable, in the sense that they are not able to provide services to the people. I also agree with the other issue is and I'll mention in my statement, and Majority Leader captured it, is the question of dealing with gangs, goons, and criminals that are used particularly for public functions. This has become a very difficult area for the police officers because the owners of the gangs sit in this house. They sit in high offices, Mr. Speaker. They are in Senate, they are in National Assembly. Some of them are in high political party offices. And the problem is that every time these people are arrested, the political leaders go and intimidate the police officers in the locality. They also visit our offices, visit the office of the IG and demand that they be transferred. When you go down to find out why they are demanding a transfer of police officer, it is only because that police officer is not playing to their tune in terms of gangs and goons. I have asked the IG and I've told the IG that you have protection of my office. No one should be able to intimidate police officers. Police officers must do their job. They must do it independently and impartially. We must be able to deal with gangs. In this invasion of Parliament of June 24th, was it 25th? 25th. I think 24th and 25th because the protests were 2 days. And the invasion of this house, I expected, Mr. Speaker, that members of Parliament unanimously will support the process of enforcing and arresting these criminals and gangs, including their financiers. Mr. Speaker, we found statements from a section of the political leaders in this house that, Mr. Speaker, are aiding and abetting and supporting people who are invading such public institutions. Let me just sound this warning that it will not stop at the Parliament. They will come to your CDF offices, and you have no monopoly of gangs. Some gangs are yours, some other gangs are also being recruited by your opponent. If the police officers were to look the other side and allow these gangs to continue operating, none of us, no politician, no member of Parliament, whether you are in opposition or in government, can be able to function. Remember that you are of a particular class of people who are considered to have some resources. And the day these gangs are going to unite to come for you, they will not care which side of the political divide you are in. It is important that all of us deal with this systemic issue of gangs because it's mutating. It starts with political bouncers, it goes to political goons, and then it moves to gangs because these people are being maintained using resources. And the same way we have bandits in other parts of the country, these are urban bandits, that are actually terrorizing citizens. And Mr. Speaker, every time a crackdown is done, the same way you've seen in some parts of Nairobi, we see that political leaders are supporting them. The judiciary is not even doing better. A situation happens like the one that Parliament was invaded. We are investigating some members of Parliament, political leaders, their sponsors, and then they go and get anticipatory bail, Mr. Speaker, that they cannot be charged. And then, it is okay to say and to get anticipatory bail that you cannot be arrested. But you can't give someone anticipatory bail that they cannot be charged. Because if the evidence is existing, that person should be charged. Let the courts weigh the evidence, Mr. Speaker, and determine whether or not that evidence meets the threshold to convict the person. But you cannot deny the National Criminal Enforcement System an opportunity to present that person before court. And the reason why this disease of gangs and goons is persisting, Mr. Speaker, is because they have their own collaborators in the judiciary. And some magistrates are already on standby, Mr. Speaker, to release people who have banned courts, attempted to ban Parliament, banned police stations, Mr. Speaker, steal guns, and banned even public facilities, including schools, people's shops, people's markets. So, Speaker, when we said we are going to charge people for terror, we meant it because the Constitution the Anti-Terrorism Act is very clear that if you are carrying out activities that are meant to scare people, wide-scale in nature, including burning of houses, including stealing guns, including, Mr. Speaker, scaring a section of population, you are supposed to be charged for terrorism. People think that terrorism is just because of cross-border or an enemy coming from elsewhere. A terrorist can be sitting in such a very beautiful chamber, Mr. Speaker, and perpetuating certain acts. Why we must be rough on the question of gangs is that it is no longer confined to Nairobi. In the old days, we used to have Jeshi la Mzee and some other characters, Nairobi, Kisumu. But now villages have gangs. Mr. Speaker, in Kitale, for example, in Saboti constituency, I'm forgetting, we have this gang in, they're called Kapenguria 6, who are operating around Kitale and you know, invading people's farms and you know all that. We have another gang that is 47 brothers, 42 brothers, operating generally around Western, including in Butere. Mr. Speaker, we went very hard on the Butere gang, and you can see the stealing of the cows and invading people's farms has gone down. But Mr. Speaker, they just go down kidogo and then they come up because they get the incentive from political leaders who are paying them. So, Mr. Speaker, if I was to speak freely here, facing all of you here, I would mention names of people here who have gangs. Yeah, Mr. Speaker. And because, Mr. Speaker, because Mr. Speaker, no, that's okay. Because Mr. Speaker, these are intelligence reports that we have. I would rather allow the DCI to continue the investigation to get the proper evidence that can test the can stand the test of prosecution before the court of law. Mr. Speaker, if we come for you around these gangs, please don't think that we are doing it because of political reasons. We're just doing it. Yes, on the question of, yes, I agree, and I need to come back to this house later on the details of what we will do or what we are still doing about the June 25th invasion of Parliament, among others. Mr. Speaker, last statement, let me say this. No politician should come to us thinking that they are coming with clean hands. I see some of them going to issue press statements because his gangs have been overpowered by the gangs of his opponent, you know? So because you lost the battle that day, you call a press conference. And you know, you accuse the police, you accuse the government, you have a selective memory of mentioning my name, you know, and become even tribal in terms of determining which police officer or public officer you are going to mention. Mr. Speaker, we are not going to allow that. We will deal with those gangs ruthlessly. And every time we have dealt with them ruthlessly, those politicians don't get out of their houses to campaign because they cannot do it without goons. On the issue of Honorable KJ, that was number one. Number two was Honorable Mumina. We are dealing with the Isiolo issue. That issue is of great concern. I agree with you that perhaps we should have gone hard early. Our police officers also, and the team that is doing operation are also strained, particularly during this drought period, because the problems have gone up. You see, we are dealing with a problem from all the way from Turkana and West Pokot. You come to at least Baringo internally, which was internal Baringo. We have stabilized Baringo. We have stabilized a lot of Laikipia. We've come to Samburu, and Laikipia is stabilized except north. So that challenge of Isiolo and Meru is the one that giving us headache with the one of Turkana and West Pokot around Aro area. And because the Special Operation Group has been doing a very good job, they are also small in number. We need to train more. We need to give them more resources because they are using specialized equipment so that we can be able to solve that issue. I promise you that we will deal with this operation, but we will put in place measures for long-term presence of government. You see, we have, our biggest problem is in Mukokotlo Forest and those areas of Malaso, La Bendera Hills. Those places, we are working to make sure that we have government training facilities in those areas. And I'm glad that the Nyeri members of parliament are here. The last time I was in those regions and said we will take part of the training of police officers to those areas, people were up in arms because they don't understand our country. Yeah, you saw some people saying we are closing Kikanjo. And close it and take there because of cheap politics. What we want to do is that instead of our police officers only training in Embakasi, Kiganjo, and these areas in terms of field work and practicals, we better have practical training facilities around those areas so that we can increase security presence there. And it's not just for the police, it also includes the KDF. Next week, I'll be sitting also with the conservancies. We've facilitated the conservancies to have NPR to a high level, and they have very good equipment. We want to see how they will cooperate with the National Police Service. I have a meeting with them next week to see how we can collaborate together using the NPR. And finally, we are vetting the NPR. Those NPRs who have been also turning to become criminals, we are going to deal with them. And if we deal this problem in Isiolo and Samburu, then the people of Meru are going to be free, because those criminals call Meru the ATM area. They like going to attack the Meru side because they know as armed criminals in Meru side as it is in the other parts. I agree with you also that we have had another phenomenon where pastoralists, when they move, they want that area to be gazetted to be their administrative unit. Either a chief moves during grazing period like now to Isiolo, and they want to extend the boundaries and move with their chief and establish a location and so forth. We have been dealing with that phenomenon, and we have said that as a ministry, before gazetting any administrative unit, we must get proper intelligence report and proper public participation to ensure that we are not encroaching on each other's administrative boundaries. I am happy, Mumina. I almost called Mumina, that all of you come to our offices, want officers to be transferred. You are fighting as leaders. So depending on which leader came last, one comes today, say that county commander is a bad one, the next one comes, this one is a bad one, the one comes, next one. Don't transfer your political problems to security officers, because one of the effective county police commander who was there was transferred after all this noise was saying that, this man is not working. Now everybody is saying he should come back after the insecurity happened. We couldn't have reached where we are if the police officers were not interfered, if the work of the police officers was not interfered with. And so we have had to bring him back, but in the neighboring county. And that kind of work, the IG is under immense pressure when their officers are also not being given operational space or opportunity to work because of political interference. And then on the issue of KJ, this is another area that judiciary is becoming an impediment. The laws, there's no lack of legislation. It's enforcement. And every time DCI carries out enforcement, the courts, without blinking, just give out court orders. Look at that block called Kenya Times, and another one called, there's another one called 7-something, something 7. Yeah? Channel 7 something. They post fake news continuously. Sometimes inciting communities, that, and they will put your picture. I saw they put Honorable Memusi's face yesterday, and they are saying Memusi has said community X must not stay in Kajiado and so forth. And it's allowed to just sit there. If you arrest and take person to court, the first thing is the court say freedom of expression. Where is the freedom of expression when that person is inciting in the country? So the DCI, as you've asked, does he not have capacity? Does he require more laws? No. What it requires is more tools and equipment and more officers to be trained. So we have been consulting with our budget committee to see how to capacitate the DCI strength We have strengthened the DCI cybersecurity team, but we need to have them to have more equipment and to have more resources so that they can be able to hire the young people, the young Gen Zs who can assist us to unravel some of these challenges that we have within the cyberspace. On the question of Honorable Nguris, I have taken note of your concern. It has been a great concern. There were security changes in the past. There is a complaint across Honorable Rueda and everybody here. I don't think there is a county where people are not complaining of overstaying police officers. And so what should happen after the recruitment in August, after the pass-out parade in August, September, we should be able to do massive rationalization, bring in new energy who have come from college, move and mix it with those who have experience and make the necessary transfers. Remember, I promised, courtesy of Ujukwala Usalama report and the IG promised that we are going to also help our officers who have been operating in frontier counties like Lamu, Tana River, Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, Marsabit, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, give them an opportunity also to move from those areas, especially those who have served for 5, 7, 8 years. It should be 3 years and someone moves. So that will be possible after the pass-out parade in about September, that we can do massive transfers. However, that does not mean that in places like Samburu, where the leadership have failed, the Inspector General of Police is going to look into the deployment in that area, and we have consulted while we were here. On the question of equity of distribution of resources, you see everybody is touching where Nabi thinks, because he's only looking at his constituency, he thinks he's the only constituency that has a problem. Nearly everyone here, I don't know a constituency here that has enough police vehicles. Yeah, I don't think there is a constituency here that has enough police vehicles. Everybody requires police vehicles. And the reason is because we are about 6 to 7 years behind schedule in terms of replacing the ones that were procured 2014. So because of that, there is a problem. And so there was a replacement recently when the IG replaced about 70 cars to replace different police. And there's another one coming up for 200 and so. But indeed, we need about 2,000 vehicles to serve police. And the procurement has been curtailed by lack of proper resources that we have always required. We were hoping that we get 3,000 last year. By end of last year, we started procurement. The financial resources were not available enough for the same. So we are working now 1,200, which we hope we can get in the next few months. I see the MP of Langata, among others. Even Nairobi, I thought you should just hire a border, among others, as a speaker. The third issue. So this issue is going to be sorted with systematically by having a proper, in the 200 that is coming, we need to equitably send. What we have told the officers, if we send to different counties, you share the vehicles that we are able to send. Honorable Protas, I am glad you are asking this question of West Pokot and Turkana County, Mr. Speaker, is because we haven't, the serious operation that happened in the lower belt has not reached that corner of Aro, the question of Kainuk, and those areas. Mr. Speaker, when the serious operation happened in Baringo County and Elgeyo Marakwet, in Tiatich, in Baringo North, in Marakwet East, and those parts of Pokot, Sigor, a smaller part of Sigor. Most of the criminals went to hide in Sigor. The border of Sigor, Samburu East, not Samburu East, Turkana East, and in Aro, which is Turkana South. And so they are hiding around Masol, which is in places like Kaptalomo, places like Lomelo, those areas, and the Amaya areas. So now we have about 3,000 to 4,000 guns-wielding bandits hiding around that belt. Sometimes when you hear, Mr. Speaker, and I must say this here, because my county was also affected, when you hear political leaders speaking, you will think their county is safe and clean. You will think that there are no bandits in their own county. You hear Turkana MP speaking, you will think Turkana is clean place. You hear a politician standing and saying, Murkomen must resign. But Mr. Speaker, even those who are speaking like that, you know that he was buying a gun. The intelligence report shows that he has bought a gun just the other 2 weeks. He has bought bullets. You see, you can fool other people, but you can't fool me because I come from that area. So, Mr. Speaker, the thing we are doing is to enable the SOG team, Mr. Speaker, to have a greater strength for us to be able to assault that area. I've told you 3,000, almost 4,000 guns operating around that belt, especially after some of the criminals ran away from the Baringo side and from some West Pokot side, especially Sikor constituency, to go and confine themselves in that particular area. Remember that these are attacks. Sometimes they come and attack West Pokot, like they did some weeks ago. At the moment, I don't know where they have a better strength to attack the side of Turkana. Turkana has that area of Lokichar, that area of Aro, that area of Kainuk has suffered consistent attacks in the last 2-3 weeks. But Mr. Speaker, I promise you this. The way, Mr. Speaker, we freed most parts of Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, some parts of West Pokot, and Laikipia, Mr. Speaker, we shall free that border of West Pokot and Turkana. I promise you. It will be, at the moment, the criminals are running around because they know that is still a safe area. But give us a few months, Mr. Speaker, they will have to surrender all those guns that they have. At the moment, as I read in my statement, we have collected over 1,200 guns in West Pokot, in Elgeyo Marakwet, small parts of West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Baringo. Mr. Speaker, as we move towards Turkana, and Mr. Speaker, it will be painful. Forget about the noise you hear now, politicians speaking. The day we do what we have to do, the noise will be unmanageable. And I am prepared for that noise because I have gone through it before. The IG is prepared, the National Police Service. Painful, Mr. Speaker. It's because, again, as I said earlier, the sponsors are sitting in this house. You know, their associates and their PAs are the ones who are buying the bullets and the guns. And, Mr. Speaker, you will hear in the news, the day the police catch up with their associates and their PAs and their friends who are supplying those guns and bullets, Mr. Speaker, when they are apprehended by police service, you will hear them come here with statements and issue other press conferences. I will never be intimidated when it comes to this issue of banditry. We will deal with it and deal with it with finality, Mr. Speaker. And no amount of press conferences and stories. If it helps them to speak in press conferences to get votes, maybe. But I'm not going to do politics on this issue of security. We are going to make sure that West Pokot and Turkana are going to fight in classrooms with pens and books, not using guns, Mr. Speaker, and bullets. Mr. Speaker, let me also add that I saw the other day, let me use this opportunity to clarify something. At the moment, my ministry is carrying out massive ID registration in Turkana, West Pokot, Turkana and West Pokot. And Mr. Speaker, that exercise, I went and launched it in Turkana, in West Pokot, in Kapenguria. On the same day, after launching that exercise, and we were with all the elected leaders of West Pokot, I went to meet the security team in Kainuk to plan on the operations we are supposed to plan. I felt very sad that some of the elected leaders from Turkana said, I went to meet West Pokot MPs and I didn't go and meet them. Mr. Speaker, these were two different assignments. On one hand, we are doing registration, and I'm going to Turkana in Lodwar to sit also with the leaders there to see how to assist them. They have been requesting that they need their people to have IDs. I'm going there to discuss matters of ID, and Mr. Speaker, they can leave to us to deal with the operation first. We'll have a meeting of leaders of both sides after the operation has become very painful. At the moment, it's still, people are just laughing and calling press conference. When it becomes painful, when no one will be able to speak, we will have our meeting between the two leaders, and it will be hallelujah at that point in time. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Shabir has raised the same issues of vehicles I have responded to. I agree with him on the question of land. We at the Ministry of Interior are working out to see how we can secure police assets, land especially. Land for immigration, for police, for government is being grabbed all over. When we went to Kitui, when we were doing the national celebration in Kitui, we realized some of our land has been grabbed by unscrupulous, and that is the case everywhere. Kitale, Nakuru, Kisumu, as has been said, especially these urban areas, because it's prime land. Mr. Speaker, we are working on the process of documentation, being assisted by Minister of Lands, to see how we can secure. It will also require some money to do fencing. Where we can do together with NGCDF, let's help each other, because that is an area that we need a lot of support to secure the land. On the operationalization of administrative units, as I said, it requires 2.2 billion to operationalize all of them. We are unable to do all of them, but I don't think there is a sub-county gazetted which we have not operationalized. Gazetted. I don't think there is a sub-county gazetted. I can say this with a lot of confidence. Gazetted sub-counties have all been were done early this year. If there is a member of parliament who thinks his has not been gazetted, text me after this, they will all be gazetted. All the sub-counties gazetted will be operational. All. I can say that with confidence. We are moving now to divisions to see whether we can finish the divisions. The biggest challenge is the locations and the sub-locations. And why the sub-locations are expensive is because you have to employ somebody afresh. For the sub-counties and the divisions, we already have officers who have been employed, who are either ACCs operating in offices in the national level or DCCs. That is easier to deal with. However, Mr. Speaker, we are sending DCCs and ACCs to places where there are no offices. So there's no office, there's no car, there's no anything. But, you know, the leaders come to us and say, where to, Matu? We will see what we can do from there. So I want you to do that which you promised us to do, to make them, have comfortable working environment as we work towards the chiefs and the assistant chiefs. It's expensive for the chiefs because it comes with their allowances, comes with their salaries, and it comes with the AIE that they are going to use in the new administrative units. On the question, and that should answer the question of Honorable Rueda, Kiunga sub-county is not yet gazetted. So it's among the, if we are unable to meet the budget of those not gazetted, the biggest challenge is to deal with now new ones. However, as I promised in this floor, on this platform, we are going to take care of a few of the counties that they didn't get gazetted units because of political marginalization and other reasons. You know, somebody who was sitting, considered Kiunga to be important, or some other sub-counties that already have the list. So in the fullness of time, and not later than June this year, we can gazette a few of them to take care of that affirmative action, including Kiunga. So you have my word. You don't need to harass the speaker. You have my word, and you know the reasons why we are unable to do that. On the chief of Kiunga, I know what you're talking about. It speaks to what Honorable Isiolo Women Representative had spoken to, Honorable Mumina, which is this question of pastoralism moving with our location or moving with our chief and so forth. But we should not put so much emotions the way you did, because the security issue should find a friendly way of resolving that matter. On the question of staying police officers, I've responded. Number 9, Honorable Kemei, on the curfew issue of Lamu, we will review the curfew. You did not ask, but let me respond. We review the curfew, Mr. Speaker, the day the security situation improves, to allow us to review the curfew. Mr. Speaker, on Honorable Kemei, I'd asked about teachers. I think it's not right to beat any teacher because the results of your children are not meeting the standards. Failure in school is not a factor.
Iko nini? Samejibu maswali yako.
Waziri ananiambia, waziri anasema wataalamu waendelee kukaa na hii curfew mpaka security kwe sawa. Tumekaa kwa miaka 15. Ni haki atuambie tuendelee hivyo hivyo. Kwani hakuna njia ya kufanya mpaka, yani hiyo miaka 15 hamjapata suluhisho mpaka sasa. Hakuna suluhisho ya hiyo curfew kaondolewa. Ni haki Lamu, watu wa Lamu, ikifika saa 12 hakuna ndege inaingia Lamu, hakuna take off or landing kwa sababu hakuna runway light, na hakuwezi toka nje ya Lamu au kuingia Lamu. Hata kufanya kazi sisi wabunge na kwa shida.
Bwana Speaker, ni ukweli, but also that curfew has helped stem the security challenges we have in that area. And no, there is no great inconvenience that can be equated to loss of life. Mr. Speaker, the number of lives we've lost on that road, Mr. Speaker, and because of the failure to have that curfew, cannot be compared to economic benefits. We can suffer inconvenience, but to save lives. So with the situation, particularly, Honorable Rueda, at this point in time, when we are approaching elections, and we know what has happened in Lamu before around election time, we have to be very careful when we are dealing with security assessment and security measures that will save lives. So we will review this in the fullness of time. Mr. Speaker, on the question of Honorable Kemei, I must say that I don't think it is right to beat teachers because of poor results. Poor results, Mr. Speaker, I am not an educationist, but I taught for 5 years. And Mr. Speaker, even though it was a university level, but Mr. Speaker, failure in school is a combination of many factors. It's facilities in that school. It is the diligence of the parents. How do you wait? How do you wait your child until the end of until the examination year for you to know even what was going on in school? You know, some of those schools, some of these schools we call top schools in the country, we parents are being harassed all the time to be in school with your child, to follow the progress of your child. But we are all sitting down and waiting in the neighboring school, especially if it's a day school, for a miracle during examination time, when you know that your child has not been doing well from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, what will change in Form 4 in the last term, Mr. Speaker? So that we should not pour our frustrations on innocent teachers. But also the teachers may not be innocent, but you deal with it in good time and in using the right channels. Beating teachers, and I promise that the security team must look into all the reported cases of harassment or beating by teachers and must take very stern action. Mr. Speaker, that includes any cases of banned property in Litain High School. On the village, vetting, verification, and registration is now ongoing, and thereafter it will be followed by appreciation of these village elders. On Honorable Makali, we have, this is an issue that the Member of Parliament from Honorable Rachel Nyamaya has been on throughout, in my office, privately, and so forth. And we agreed that KWS should take over the game reserve. And they were to sign an agreement with the county government. So the last time I engaged on this matter, Governor Malombe and Mr. Kanga, the DG KWS, had a meeting to see how they can agree for a management of the game reserve by KWS. Once government takes over that game reserve, it should help us now to manage it properly, because there are bandits operating from there with guns, so that they are stealing people's livestock and attacking grazers. Some of those grazers also are grazing there illegally. So the same issues must be dealt with objectively. Mr. Speaker, is it a government policy for a church to be tear gassed? Of course, Mr. Speaker, it is not. And I have, and I'm sure he's referring to the incident of Odaya. Mr. Speaker, it is only that sometimes by accident, when police are dealing with gangs. Let's start with what is the cause of the problem? The biggest problem is the gang-wielding politicians. Let's start with that. A politician who walks everywhere with goons and gangs, attracting his opponent to walk also around with goons and gangs. And they have no boundaries. They take their goons and gangs up to church, like it happened in Embakasi, so that for the police to deal with the goons and gangs before even the church service began, they had to lobby tear gas to separate the two. Thankfully, in the Embakasi situation, we managed to ensure that none of the gangs and no police officers got a tear gas to the church. But in the one of Odaya, Mr. Speaker, is a very, very strange phenomenon, because the reports is, Mr. Speaker, there is a confusion whether it was a police lobby tear gas or it was a tear gas that was carried by gangs themselves and goons of either of the politicians who are having political competition. I want to explain this very clearly. So the investigations are ongoing to establish whether there was a civilian who was carrying a gun in a canister or something and lobbied inside the church. Be it as it may, notwithstanding the circumstances of that situation, I do not believe that any police officer should throw a tear gas inside a church, except of course, if that church was not a church service, assuming that terrorists were hiding inside there. But you should never, churches should be a sacred place. And I speak this both as a son of a pastor, as a speaker, and as a Christian, and as a cabinet secretary. That is the place that should never be defiled by any politicians, whether you are supporting side A or side B. That should not be condoned. And as you know, the IG has promised that investigations, once they establish the facts and the persons involved, they will be charged in a court of law. Mr. Speaker, I'd like also to add that is this a government policy? Okay, promotion of officers and transfers, I have said as much. I think that's all I wish to say, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I will... Which one is unanswered? Member for Kajiado North.
Thank you, Speaker. The issue of Kitengela. He rightly answered the issue of Karatina. It was asked by Chongwa. We rarely agree. But Kitengela issue, a senior DCI officer is the suspect in this question. He said from the police officer who shot somebody in Karatina, the OCS can even be taken to task about it. What about the Kitengela issue? Because it has not gone to court. Investigation has been done. The DPP has even given recommendation. What is it that is not happening about the Kitengela and even the cover-up that the DCI wants to do over that issue?
Sorry, that was an oversight, Mr. Speaker. Yes. If I can do as follow-up. Where police officers are involved, usually it is not them to investigate themselves. It is the IPOA to do so. Because these were not obvious circumstances. For the case of Mathira, yeah, it was Karatina. It was straightforward. You know, thanks to CCTV cameras, you could tell exactly who it was, and disciplinary action was taken, and then the person arrested and charged. For the one for Kitengela, it needed further investigations by IPOA, and to the best of...
Does IPOA have capacity to carry out criminal investigations?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. It's actually the only thing they do is the criminal investigation on parts of the police, where police are culpable. But the police officers are cooperating. The National Police Service is cooperating to make sure that those mentioned officers, DCI officers, are taken through the legal process. Yeah.
Honorable members, I will, it's now 1. I'll take 3-3. Which one is unanswered, Shakil? Operationalization
Of 5 locations and 9 sub-locations that
The
have already
answer.
been gazetted.
The answer. Order Jalango, he was not. But it was answered on Shakil. He said he's finished with the sub-counties, is now cascading downwards. Isn't that what you said? Okay, let's, wow. I'll take 3-3. Cynthia 1. Is that Lekuton? Lekuton 2. And Karemba 3. This side, member for Fafi. Ijara, 1. So you are number 4. Magarini 3. 6. I've taken 3, 4, 5, Sunguli 6.
Mr. Speaker, I am in the middle here.
And I'll give the chairman of security.
Mr. Speaker, I am in the middle. Where do I belong?
Who? I'll give you Taitumu. Just hold on. Let them ask. Number 1. 1 question each. We are running out of time.
Yeah, thank you,
I'll
Honorable
also
Speaker.
give you Aluke. Just take a seat.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm in the middle.
Who is in the middle? Kipchumba.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'll give you. You are disadvantaged. You know you are sitting very far from me. You will be number 7. Cynthia?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have a very bad situation in my county, in Aldai constituency, a ward called Kaptumo Kaboy, a village called Kapso. Honorable Speaker, we have a young gentleman by the name Engineer Nixon who died, who was killed by bandits in Turkana. Honorable Speaker, of course, we empathize and we really went to support the family. But the problem I have, Honorable Speaker, and I would like the Minister for Interior to be able to address this, not for only Nixon Engineer, but for every other person who falls victim to the banditry that is still happening in this country. Honorable Speaker, there is no official communication to the family in regards to exactly what happened. And number 2, there is no proper official update in regards to the investigations into the matters that surrounded his dying. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, can we get a policy way forward from the Cabinet Secretary regarding how the victims of banditry will be treated going forward in regards to the things that they used to do and even in terms of compensation, Honorable Speaker?
Number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to commend our able minister for his commitment
We have run out of time. Stop
to secure our nation,
Minister.
continue to give Kenyans hope. Mr. Speaker, I'll just make it mine quick. Mr. Speaker, there is a situation in Marsabit County at the moment, specifically in a place called Yale in Kargi Division, Laisamis constituency, that now demands a serious intervention, Mr. Speaker, because of this existing drought. And Mr. Speaker, I'd like the minister to put more emphasis, to put more troops there to help avert a volatile situation that could happen any time. And Mr. Speaker, therefore, I'd like to urge our minister to look into this problem because already we have 1 person shot yesterday, and to at least make sure that each person goes to their own boundaries for us to have existing peace in that region. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Number 3.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the security situation in Runyenje's constituency is currently very bad, and it has everything to do with the theft of farm produce. From the mango farmers to the avocado farmers to the banana farmers and lately to the coffee farmers. Initially, theft of farm produce and especially coffee used to happen in factories, in coffee factories. But it is now happening even in the farms, where the thieves are even cutting the stem and harvesting the coffee at the convenience of their homes and other places. So now, farmers in my constituency are seriously discouraged because You plant your mangoes, you plant your other crops, but you are not there to harvest, and you don't benefit from it. So many have left the activity of farming, and the situation is so bad that it is being accelerated by the illicit brew, the availability of illicit brew and cheap liquor in the constituency. And this issue featured prominently in the Jukwaa la Usalama that was led by one CS Murkomen. So I would wish that the CS speaks to this issue, because it is so bad and discouraging and has lowered the quality of life of my people in Runyenjes constituency. Please, CS, speak to this
Point
issue.
made, number 4.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to talk about the issue of the Al-Shabaab attack in Hulugo town. Some 3 weeks ago, we lost a teacher and a chief. And the unfortunate part is that the office of the DIG, or the Minister of Interior, they just went there without involving the local leaders. That is one concern I have. The other concern, 1 week later, I am not blaming the police officers or DCI or the anti-terror. There's a special team that they came there around midnight, and they collected 2 wazis. One is Sambur Abdullah Olo and Mohammed Kainan. And after a long fight from the local community, they tracked those security guys from Hulugo town up to Garsene, which is over 200 kilometers, running after each other. Then they throwed out of the car Mzee Sambur, who is an old man, 80 years, and until now, Mohammed Kainan is nowhere to be seen. So it's the people of Hulugo town. They are in a panic situation as you speak for the last 1 month, both from the Al-Shabaab attack from that side of the other border, and also from our own security team. So I would like to ask the minister, what is he doing on that? And why is he not involving the local leaders when they are visiting their respective leaders? I want to ask him, is there any area MP maybe from Ijara? Because I was not involved that visit from his office. Thank you.
Number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While we were in Naivasha, residents of plot 575 were subjected to unlawful eviction which was supervised by police officers from Marereni and Gongoni, supported by heavily armed goons. And as I speak, they are still camping there to still erect a fence all around the plot. Despite the fact that the residents obtained a court order to stop the activity, they are still on with the activity of fencing the plot under the surveillance of the goons and the police officers. Bwana CS, I need your urgent intervention into that matter. At the same time, Kazuhoni residents are suffering malicious damage to their properties. Again, under the supervision of police from Gongoni Police Station. Bwana CS, I need your intervention to that matter.
Sunguli.
Mr. Speaker, I first want to thank the CS for...
I've stopped you from praising the CS.
No, I'm not praising. It's just as a basis of my question.
Yes.
That for the attention they paid to the problems in Angata and Lolgorian. But Mr. Speaker, the problem of insecurity in Lolgorian calls for new attention. Because Lolgorian is a gold area, the minister should consider putting special attention to security in Lolgorian and Masrura. Now, the issue is, you have praised us for putting up police stations. I have put up a police station in Masrura. When you gazetted the new police stations, You did not include Masrura. I put up a new a place for the DCI in Lolgorian town itself. You have not populated that place. Could the minister...
Usalama, one thing that came out very prominently and repeatedly all over the country is the very dire state of our police stations and police posts all over the country. It's the same thing, Honorable Speaker, that we noted as a committee when we were doing rounds. And Honorable Speaker, CS, you remember when we had the pass out of the chiefs in the State House, His Excellency the President made a pronouncement, or rather, I think probably a suggestion, that considering that it is almost impossible for the ministry to fund the facilities, the police station and the police post, we can able to have it as a shared function between ourselves, the ministry, Ministry of Housing, and possibly, of course, the NGCDF, which we have continuously been doing, but they seem to have been probably a more organized and structured way to do it. What I want to know, and as Speaker, I remember I raised it in Ivasha, maybe the CS can apprehend the House, possibly what the President exactly intend was in addressing this big problem that is all over this place.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
Well, okay, number...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Waziri, there is a problem in Sirisia, and this problem is about the vehicles. Our vehicles were borrowed to go to Lamu when there was a problem there. 5 years down the line, we've not received them back, and there's a lot of problems in Sirisia because of theft. People are stealing coffee, going to the other neighboring country. People are stealing animals, cows, to go to the neighboring countries. The police are using border. Even the OCPD, the 4 OCSs, because we have 4 police stations. So we are waiting for these vehicles, Waziri, to be replaced. The 3 vehicles that were taken by the Interior Ministry to be brought back. Thirdly, secondly, Honorable Speaker, the problem of Sirisia also is about encroaching. I want the minister to take charge and take action about Changara division. Changara is in Bungoma West, Sirisia division, but there is an officer in the office of the president who is corrupt, called Osia. Just cassetted the division and took there the DO, and we have been cool. I've been cooling down my people, Honorable Speaker, but we have reached a point when people will fight. I think the ministry or the CS, you will not blame the people or blame the politicians, because this thing went to the Senate. And the Senate took action, discussed and deliberated about it, and saw that Changara is in Sirisia, Changara is in Bungoma, not Busia. I want you...
Point made.
No, Honorable Speaker, give me a minute. I'm requesting Waziri to remove the DO from Changara and decassette the division. Otherwise, we will not be blamed. Thank you.
Murugara. Give Murugara the mic.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable CS, you began by commending NGCDF for putting up police stations and posts. But I regret to inform you that I will name 6 of them in the Raka constituency that have been put up by NGCDF, but for the last almost 5 years for each, we do not have any police officers there. What assurance do you give to us that as soon as you pass out the 10,000 recruits in Kiganjo, these police posts and stations will now be fully operationalized and we will have police officers there? They are as follows: Karini Police Post in Chakariga, Kirigicha Police Base in Mukothima, Kachiongo Police Post in Mukothima, Kironi Police Post in Gatunga, Karandini Police Post in Gatunga, and Tonya Police Post in Mariband. Thank you.
Kipchumba will be the last.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question to the Cabinet Secretary. First of all, we just have to appreciate that police officers risk life and limb in service to this nation, and that when they get injured, we must remember that they should not be a liability. They should be seen as an asset. As you've shared that you are reviewing some acts and bills that you have in mind, like the National Police Service Veterans and Fallen Heroes Bill, I'd wish to ask, what policies are you putting in place to assist injured officers to be reassigned or retrained on the new potentials that they have after this acquiring disability? And then what are you doing about those officers who are now stagnated? I have about 3 of them that have visited my office. They got injured in 2014, and they were corporal, one was a senior sergeant. Everybody has been promoted up the ladder. They've been left to stagnate. What are you doing about that?
Point made.
Thank you.
Taitumu. Just press the button and you'll get the mic.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I will be very brief. First of all, Waziri, you made a pronouncement on 2nd of this month about an operation in the upper part of Eastern. This was received with a lot of jubilation from my constituents and the larger part of the Meru that borders the Isiolo and the Borana side. Mr. Speaker, the irony is that on 9th of this month, Kairis vehicle, that is Wilson Kairis cows, 98 of them were rendered and taken to Mulango Hills. None of those cows were recovered. On the 10th of this month, cows belonging to Totene by Mula, 14 of them, were also driven to Mulima Lebendera in Samburu East. What are the officers doing to recover those animals despite the operation that is taking place? 2, CS is on the facilitation of officers in those areas that are highly affected by banditry activities. I would like to know what measures are used when facilitating the officers in terms of fuel, because we have some parts of this country that are not in dire need, like officers who are in areas that are banditry prone,
Thank you.
like Gembe North.
The very last, John Paul. Kematia, umefungiwa nje.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, few weeks ago, some young people from Kenya were reported killed in Russia and others in Ukraine. I want to know from the ministry if it is the ministry who are recruiting the young people to go and fight in Russia. Or if it is not the ministry, how are they dealing with the agencies who are recruiting? Because there is some information out there that it is the government which is recruiting these young people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, can you answer all those in 10 minutes?
Okay, Mr. Speaker. I'll try my best. On the question of Honorable Cynthia Muge, on this young man who was caught in crossfire of banditry. It's very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. An engineer who was going about his work was attacked on the road, this Kainuk Road, as a result of this banditry issue. Mr. Speaker, my condolences to his family. And unfortunately, as a government, we don't have a policy yet on compensating victims of crime, including banditry. Mr. Speaker, there would be need as government to see how that will happen, because and it is not confined to banditry alone. What about somebody who has been robbed in his house, in his office, robbed in their shops, murder in a particular area? So it is there has to be a whole policy on how this will be handled. Mr. Speaker, if the family has not been explained to, I will take it upon myself to inform the Inspector General of Police so that the police officers can send someone to explain to their family the circumstances. Whether or not these people will be arrested, it's not easy, Mr. Speaker, to promise here that bandits are easy to be arrested. That's why we carry out the kind of operations we do. And Mr. Speaker, but intelligence will continue to be gathered to know exactly who was involved. Mr. Speaker, once we have the information, the National Police Service will go after the criminals, Mr. Speaker. And this will not be a first incident. A number of them have been attended to or dealt with, Mr. Speaker, in Baringo and Elgeyo Marakwet County, who have committed similar offenses. On the question of Laisamis, I've taken note of the boundary between the two constituencies where there is a problem of an emerging problem as a result of grazing, looking for pasture and water, and then has caused conflict among these communities. Mr. Speaker, the DIG has taken note of the same, so as requested by the Honourable Member. On the question of Runyenjes, first, Mr. Speaker, where is the Honourable Karemba? Okay, since he has already gone, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to commend him that his residents or his voters, Mr. Speaker, must be congratulated for working hard to grow cash crops. Because, Mr. Speaker, and this government must be appreciated that the value of cash crops has gone so high that it's attracting, Mr. Speaker, thieves to steal coffee and other cash crops. Mr. Speaker, coffee theft across the country is a big challenge for us because of the prices that it attracts. And that's why you had Honorable Aluke. You know, the other day, even some robbers attacked a transporter in Keses, in Cheptiret there, and only to steal coffee. So, Mr. Speaker, it means that coffee prices is a very precious commodity now across the country. And the CS of Agriculture, Mr. Mutahi Kagwe, has written to me severally to see how we designate some police officers, how the IG can establish a unit that can take care of farm produce, especially pricey commodity like coffee, avocados, among other cash crops. So, Mr. Speaker, we will up our game in Runyenjes, and I will inform the IG as has been raised by the Honourable Member. On the specific incident of Ijara, as raised by Honourable Abdi Ali, Mr. Speaker, I will then proceed to present the information to the IG so that a comprehensive situation analysis is done and an answer is given as to the whereabouts of the citizen that has been, or a resident of that county that is seen is still unknown and accounted for. Mr. Speaker, on Magarini, that's also a specific case involving a specific land. Honorable Kombe has raised this issue, and in Kongoni and other areas. I will take up also the same issue. The DIG has already noted being here so that it can be attended to. Same as the one for Abdi Ali and the others. Honorable Sunguli, I agree. I think we had a good security operation in Angata Parikoi, but we remember between me and you, we agreed that when the situation is stabilized, we will go back there for Barasa now, a security Barasa. That should be together with Lolgorian area where we have gold issues. And I have taken note of the offices you have constructed so that we can see what can be done. And that should go together with the question of Honorable Murugara, that, Mr. Speaker, we should also, these police stations we are building, I'm sure it's being done together after having consulted the county and the sub-county security team, so that the security needs are assessed and it is known that these facilities are being built for specific purpose, so that the IG cannot delay in terms of resourcing. And I will follow up the question of Masurura, yes, and Lolgorian and the DCI office, as has been requested by my very able predecessor many years back. Mr. Speaker, and Honorable Tongoyo has raised a very important issue on the construction. His Excellency proposed that housing as part of the component of infrastructure in the various constituencies should build 300 police stations. I had a meeting with the Department of Housing this week on Monday, and we have agreed the IG is working on the numbers that will be presented to the housing to do the 300, and the Housing Ministry is ready to do so as part of the ecosystem of housing projects. On the other 300 police stations to be built based on the budget, we will be submitting again a proposal in the upcoming budget for the 2026-2027 to ensure that this is captured. And then on the question of the other 300 by members of parliament, we need to have, I don't know, Mr. Speaker, what mechanism, maybe the committee of CDF or which committee of actually, our committee should be able to convene a meeting, even if it's a Komkunji, with the members of parliament and give us the proposed, and be shared equitably, to give us the proposed police stations that will be built by CDF. We will try to distribute that equitably. Maybe when we give you from housing 2 police stations, you should also build another 2, so that then there is an incentive. We need to think about a formula of distribution of the same. On the question of vehicles, I think Honorable Aluke was with DIG this week for the vehicles issue, and I was assured that in the next 200 we are expecting, as we distribute it equitably across the country, Sirisha will at least benefit from 1. And then the question of Changara division, Mr. Speaker, the officer who was mentioned, Mr. Osia, does not gazette administrative units. It is only the cabinet secretary who gazettes administrative units, Mr. Speaker. So we should not take blame to any of government officials who cannot defend themselves here. Mr. Speaker, the best of the knowledge we have at the moment is that Changara is in Busia County. But now that we know there is a dispute, there is also a mechanism of resolving that dispute within the ministry. And Mr. Speaker, I am sure you are not conflicted because you are the Speaker of the entire Republic. Yes. But on this matter, I must promise that, Mr. Speaker, I will then have to convene a meeting between the leaders of Bungoma, affected leaders in Bungoma and Busia, and we resolve that issue of boundary. This is not confined to Busia and Bungoma alone. We have similar cases across the country, and we can solve it amicably. I do not wish that, I am very concerned, Mr. Speaker, that Honorable Aluke is speaking in a threatening language, that if something happens, we should know. Mr. Speaker, coming from Honorable Aluke, we take it very seriously, and I request that we do it peacefully.
Point of order. What is it, Aluke?
Honorable Speaker, you have been a member of parliament for Sirisia. You have been a senator in the Senate, even the Waziri. You know very well that Changara is in Sirisia. So the minister who cassetted, I think he was misinformed. And You, as a former member of parliament for Sirisia, you can give a good direction or advice to the minister. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, this matter, I would not wish that the Speaker be put on the spot because first, there is no contest. I have already agreed that we can sit down with the leaders to resolve the question of the boundary so that we do not have a problem. So, and it can be done amicably. The thing is that no matter which side the boundary is, the responsibilities of the security team, whether it's an SEC or his team, is to provide law and order. And they do not appropriate any resources, Mr. Speaker, to the extent that you can say that any part will be disadvantaged. If it's in Bungoma, we celebrate that Bungoma is now safe by having a SEC who is there. So the SEC should not be pitted against leaders, one county against the other, because their role anyway, they serve any part of Kenya without consideration of their political boundaries.
Let me not lock out Chematia. Chematia. Let me see no other hand. It's only Chematia I'm giving.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to rise and thank the Minister for the good work. Mr. Speaker, we have a problem in my county, Baringo, where most of the NPRs who are recruited during the harsh times of banditry, they are doing a very good job, but they have a problem on their stipend. They are supposed to be paid some stipend by government at least every month, but most of them have reported that they have not been getting these monies, and it can take them up to 5 months, and they receive very little, according to what they had agreed on.
Thank you
so much, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, you have...
And their uniforms also. They don't have uniforms. Sometimes they go use tattered clothes. Thank you.
Respond to Kipchumba's
and John
issue
Paul's, yeah.
and John Paul.
And Daitum. Mr. Speaker, let me start with the, so that I don't
Very
forget
quickly.
the NPR one. We are in the process now of digitizing the payment of NPR. And that will help us weed out the ghost NPRs, because we believe of the 7,000, there are a number of ghost ones. And I think once we do that exercise and so that they can get their payment digitally, then we'll be able to sort. We remember that also we have a problem of command and control. So we've been working hard to make sure that NPRs are reporting to the OCS, so for accountability, or attached to our security camp where security operations are ongoing. And I agree with her that because the payments usually is done after 3 months. Maybe once we do the vetting and digitize, we can now pay them directly to their accounts or to their M-Pesa numbers as may be agreed. Honorable Harold Kipchumba, I think that beyond the veterans bill that we are working on, currently the officers who get injured at work are redeployed if they are still able to, or able and willing to perform other duties, office duties, or duties that may not require physical presence or running around and so forth. But the National Police Service is a very compassionate police service, and they take this issue of colleagues very seriously. That's why even this last year, I think the year before, they started a process of commemorating and remembering veterans. And that process is going on. As with the Veterans Bill, I think it will be stronger, it will be concretized, and we will have more benefits. When the bill comes to this House, we will benefit also from the wisdom and knowledge that you have in this area. And good to see you here, Honorable Kipchumba, because we served together in the Senate with the Speaker. And the question of Taitumu, it is true. When you start an operation, Mr. Speaker, the results does not become instant. But Honorable Taitumu will agree with me that the rates have gone down and the situation is fairly contained. But we must continue. Like, for example, the operation that is going on in Mukokoda Forest, we have seen many livestock there. The next phase is that once this livestock is, we are able to get them, we should be able now to call the beneficiaries to come and identify their livestock. It is true that we still have this challenge in that area, and it's not going to happen. We are not going to sort it instantly, but we are in the process. A number of recoveries, just as you mentioned, the ones that have not recovered, a number of recoveries have been achieved in that area. Let's give time to this particular operation. It is my intention, and as I promised you, one-on-one, that now I can come there and have something to tell the people because of the process that is ongoing in the operation. I agree with you in terms of, we were discussing with DIG here, and the IG should take note of that, that even when these vehicles come, we should start with the most vulnerable areas, the places like your constituency and the northern part of the country who have serious security problems. On the question of, regarding John Paul's question, the information we have is that most of the people, Kenyans who are lured to go and fight in Russia, they don't go straight. Some have not gone straight. Some have gone through getting some employment work in Middle East. Some are even recruited in Middle East. They are already doing the normal security work, private security work, and then they are picked, taken to Russia, taken through push-ups for 2 days or so, given a gun for the first time in their life, and then they are put on the forefront. It is a very, very painful situation. Some, of course, who are recruited here, we have had situations where former police officers, former forces people, and so forth are targeted for recruitment, and they go there intentionally. Although when they're living here, they live here, they know where they are going, and they know what they want to go and do. But they work together with the agents and disguise it as going for seminars, not seminars, to go and work in hotels, to work in construction sites and so forth, only be known to them in some cases. In some cases they don't know, in some cases they know. So that's why the Prime Cabinet Secretary is going there to have diplomatic engagement with the government of Russia on this particular subject, because it's very painful. I know a story of I'm told about a family that quietly went there, 3 sons, and 2 were killed instantly, because no training, no nothing, no knowledge of the place. People are going to fight in a snowing area, very cold. They have no ability to deal with these issues. The agencies that are involved are being investigated. There is ongoing work between the relevant ministry, which is of labor, together with the National Police Service through the Office of DCI, to investigate the ministries, the agents who are misleading these people or misleading the public. Even if they are colluding with the affected people, they are misleading the public as to the work opportunities for these young people. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Minister, as we close, the Speaker's office gets letters and petitions. Some I don't find their way here. They request some from serving police officers. Yes. That you used to have refresher courses for police, regular refresher courses to appraise them on handling of weapons, handling of crowds, human rights observance, and so on. And their request is that these refresher courses are no longer there. So you'll find a police constable who lives Gikanjo, works for 6, 7, 10 years without going for a simple refresher course on how to be a better police officer. What are you doing about that? Or is that the situation to begin with?
Mr. Speaker, you are so right and you're on point. This was raised also throughout the Jukwaa la Usalama. It's captured in our report. Yes, that is why we have now introduced continuous training for the police. Part of it is some of the challenges we go through is because of failure to have this continuous training. Now, all our OCSs have gone through the police academy for retraining, and about 4 regional police training centers have been reopened after being closed for many years. Now, the western one, Kisumu, Garissa, Mombasa, and then we want to have a curriculum that is for continuous training, so that people can go back to training on some police officers, especially the ones who are attached to VIPs, like members of parliament and us and many others. Sometimes they never even get a chance to do anything for many years. If they have been with you for 10, 20 years, if they are not going for refresher courses, chances are you are not safe, if they don't go for retraining. So that we want to reintroduce a continuous training program for the police, borrowing from other professions. And that is already ongoing. It started like 2 years ago. It's going to be upscaled, and that's why, and also for professional training on how to handle people. The OCS is recently trained as we have seen the results of their work. It improves their work ethics, commitment, and so forth. We are working towards also establishing police university to work together, National Defense College now, but eventually we'll have a police university from the academy that we have in Gong Road, and that is why I promised that Kiganjo will be a university college of the police academy, and then we will have various colleges across the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Our compliments to the IG. After the incident, honorable members of Ongondo Were, I engaged the IG, and they have been retraining our VIP security for parliamentarians. And so far, I think we've done about 3/4. Any member whose ADC has not been taken to training, you should see the office of the clerk so that your security officers can go and get proper training to update their skills in VIP management. Honorable members will come to... Yes, Wanjala, you just came in. This Komkunji was for 10 o'clock.
Forgiving.
Use the mic. Just press and it will come on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the chance, though coming late, I'm sorry. I was Honorable Minister, I have heard you talking about giving out vehicles. Bunyala Sub-County, which is Budalang constituency, has a very long border between Uganda and Kenya, and right at the lake. But you always forget to give them the Coast Guard's speedboats or motorboats to be used. And the Ugandans have taken advantage of coming over, crossing and attacking the Kenyan fishermen. And again, even the sub-county OCPD has no vehicle, and the boundary is very long, all the way from Funyula, from Busia, all up to Bondo. It's very porous. How fast will you consider giving them motorboats, including those camps that we have erected on islands like Sumba, so that they are able to defend Kenyans who are doing their fishing? Now that there are no jobs in the country, most of our people look for their livelihood from the lake. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think on the question of police vehicles that I answered earlier, maybe just for the benefit of the honorable member, that we have an acute shortage all over. And as we distribute equitably. So the next batch of about replacing the current fleet of about 200, we will also distribute it equitably to every part of the country. I agree with you. In the modernization program, there are some boats that have been procured that will be used by Coast Guards in the Lake Victoria. And part of it is your constituency, the part of Busia. So as soon as those are delivered, within the next 2-3 months, we should be able to support. I was in a meeting with the Coast Guard in Kisumu, and there are 2 stations we promised, 2 new stations for covering Kisumu, and we will try to equip it as soon as possible. Asante sana.
That's the end of this Kamkunji, honorable members. See you at 2:30.
So you can sort that issue. Tunapigia tu.